Hey guys, just a quick video. When you go to the store and you bring some new fish home, and you're going to put it in a quarantine tank, just a little quick guide on when you're doing that. They're going to give you, when you go to the store and you get the fish, they don't all do it. My store asked me if I want the fish in a bag to take it out. I always say yes, because when you put the fish in a bag, they cannot see what's going on in the outside world, which reduces stress. Stress is the #1 reason why new fish die. That's the biggest reason. They go through a lot of stress. I made a video on that. So once you get the fish in the bag, you bring it home. Obviously, everybody, the first order of business is to let the bag float in the tank they're going in for at least 30 minutes or so. That warms the temperature up. It's going to match the temperature that's in the tank they're going in, which is obviously your quarantine tank. When I put the bag in there to float for 30 minutes, the next thing I do is I like to go ahead and add the medication in the tank. I like to get it in the tank and get the medication dissolved a little bit. I use API General Cure and API erythromycin. I have a hard time saying that. I use them together. They're safe to use together. Put them in the tank. Let them dissolve in there for that 30 minutes or more while the fish are warming up to the temperature of the tank. Okay. Now it's time to put the fish in the quarantine tank. Get a bucket, set it down on the floor, get a net that is big enough and will sit on top of the bucket. You do not want to add the water that came in the bag from the fish store to your quarantine tank. That water is crap. There's a lot of different fish going in and out of there. It's just a cesspool of disease, fungus, and you're just asking for problems. So you're going to dump that bag of fish into the net. The water goes into the bucket, the fish go into the net. You take the net out, then you put the fish in your quarantine tank. When using API medications like I do, you're going to let that medication sit for 48 hours, 2 days. And then you're going to do another dose. And that's going to sit for 2 days. Then you're going to do a 20% water change. Okay. If you're having to quarantine your fish in a display tank, this is the time where you're going to want to add some carbon to your filter to pull the medication out. In my quarantine tank, I don't worry about that. I just have a sponge filter in there. I have an extra air stone for increased oxygen, because when you're medicating fish, the oxygen reduces in the tank. So I just wanted to give a little video on quick tips when you bring new fish home. If you're looking for something quick, sometimes you don't have time to look these videos up and everyone talking about 100 different things. You just want to get right to the point, okay? Now I'm going to give you a little clip of some current fish I got yesterday that I've been quarantining. So here's my 10-gallon quarantine tank, the sponge filter. I always like to put that decoration in there. You want to give them something to be able to hide in, and they're nervous, they're scared, they're in a new environment, so it's always good to give them something to kind of occupy them, keep them hidden, give them something to discover. Bare bottom, no substrate. I don't do that in my quarantine tanks because I like to be able to view their detritus, their poop. I like to. Plus, it's easier to clean when you're done. When I'm done with this tank, I just go ahead and drain the water with a specific bucket and gravel vac only for quarantine, and then I take the rest over to the tub, dump it out, rinse this thing out real good, let it dry, and that's it. I don't really disinfect it even when I'm done. If you want to disinfect it, you can spray it down with some peroxide or a bleach solution, 50/50 bleach solution or whatever. But I don't even do that. I don't have the issue. I just rinse it out with my tap water, which has chloramine in it and stuff like that, and I let it dry. Once it's 100% dry too, that helps break down anything that's living on the surface as well. It also breaks down bleach. Bleach cannot live when it's dry. It breaks up and turns into nothing. So here's my current fish. I'm quarantined. I got a couple guppies. I've got some long fin reds. I got so they only had 2. I love neon tetras, and I went there hoping to get more, but they only had 2 left. So I got one that's very small. You see that guy? How little he is. I may have to grow him out a little bit before I put him in the tank. He's going into a 55-gallon community tank. He's going to be cool in there. I don't think anything else is going to bother him in that tank. It's peaceful. It's all peaceful fish, but you never know what can happen. Every fish is different. Got some sunburst wagtails in there, platies. Got a lot of tetras. They're going to be happy. They're going to get some friends and be in a big tank. I'm going to make a 55-gallon community tank full of just all kinds of different types of small fish: platies, mollies, guppies, neon tetras. I want to get a hold of some rummy nose, maybe some bleeding hearts, things like this. But you know, I've been keeping an eye on them. Everything's good. They're eating. They're active. They seem healthy. Some of the long fins were a little ragged, but I'm going to fix that. That'll get fixed up, and they'll be fine. But yeah, very simple. It's not hard to quarantine as long as you have the medications. Keep my meds and everything I need right here. General Cure, erythromycin, Fin and Body Cure. I do not have this in. I just use these two in conjunction with ick. I have not put ick in. I have seen no signs of ick, so I haven't used that. But these guys are going to be in here for 2 weeks or more, so I'll be keeping an eye on them. And if I happen to see little salt specks or ick starting to form, I'll go ahead and add that in. I have a dry erase board, a whiteboard out that I keep track, so I don't forget when I'm supposed to redose. Everything seems to be going good. These guys are winning, you know, like I said, a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, maybe even a month. Just really keep an eye on them, make sure they're keeping their appetite. The fins on the long fin tetras, I want to make sure that they're getting better. You know, I like tapping into new fish and adding new fish and having something new to look at. Keep the hobby interesting. Their selection wasn't that big at PetSmart yesterday, but they did have some fish I wanted in here, and everybody's looking good. As far as the quarantine tank, I do not add a filter that has already, you know, been established and have good bacteria colonized on it. I just clean this out and reuse it as I need it. I fill it up. So this is an uncycled quarantine tank, which will be fine. For the amount of time that I'm going to be quarantining, I just monitor and see if the ammonia is coming up. If the ammonia is coming up, I simply add a little bit of prime to detoxify it. I've been doing it that way for a long time. I've never had adverse problems doing it this way. And I don't have an extra tank running just sitting around empty, sucking down your electric bill. Always good to have quarantine tanks, but you don't need to go overboard with anything. You don't need this elaborate, expensive quarantine setup running all the time. You just don't. So yeah, there it is. Get your fish home. Keep them as stress-free as possible. If want to keep the bag they come in like a grocery bag that the pet store offers you, so it cuts the vision out, cuts a little bit of light out on the trip home. When the whole time I'm driving home, I hold them up in the air. I don't rest my arm on the armrest of a seat. I hold them up in the air because as I'm going over railroad tracks or bumps and turns, I'm not jostling the fish around. They move with the flow, you know, and so that helps reduce stress. Because I don't live too far from my store. Now, if you live longer from your store, that's really not feasible. Your arm's going to be killing you by the time you get home. So, yep. Once you get them home, float them 40, 30 minutes. Get your medication in there. Get it dissolved. Get your bucket on the floor. Put the net on top of the bucket. Dump the fish into the net so the water goes in the bucket. The fish go into the net. Add them to the tank. Write down, keep a log so you don't forget what time and what day you added them, because 2 days later you got to redose, and 2 days after that you got to do a water change. I don't even do that. I skip that process. After I've completed the dose cycle, I go ahead and pull the fish out, put them in my assimilation bucket, They go to the tank I'm going to be putting them in, and then I assimilate them. I do a little IV drip of the water, tank water they're going to be going into, and that'll be sitting like that for probably anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. And they get used to the new water. After that, scoop them up, put them in the tank. That's it. And watch them, make sure they're okay. It's as simple as that. It doesn't have to be a hard thing. It doesn't have to be going too in depth. People tend to get a little over react. They overreact with a lot of things, and quarantine is one of them. And it really doesn't have to be that hard. Okay, so make it simple, make it easy. Doesn't have to be hard. Doesn't have to be overwhelming. Doesn't have to stress you out. Okay, so that's it. All right, thanks guys. Couple things I forgot to mention. Obviously, when you're filling your quarantine tank up with the water, I do use Prime to detoxify it. And also, once you bring the fish home and you have them in the tank, make sure you keep the lights off. And lights in any aquarium are for people, not the fish. Keep the lights off to reduce even more stress. I don't even turn the lights on till the next day. I like to turn the lights on the next day just because I need them to get used to that as well, which they already are because they were in a pet store and they had the lights on, everything was good. But in this way, they understand that once I put them in the tank, they're going to be good to go. They're not going to have to worry about light. They're already stressed. They're already worried. Let's keep that light off. Don't turn them on to the next day. Next day, give them time to relax, chill out, and you'll be good to go. Oh, I also like to put Seachem Stress Guard in there. Stress Guard adds that slime coat back on the fish, helps reduce it. Any wounds, any damage, anything like that, that Stress Guard is going to bind to it, disinfect it. It's an antiseptic. It's like peroxide for fish, right? So that's it. Just a quick guide. Hope you liked the video. Let me know if you liked it. Please comment below. I need more comments on my videos. You got to help me grow my channel. I need all the help I can get. I'm trying to get up there with the big guys. I know it's going to take long, but with your help I can get there faster. Thanks guys. Let me know. Hope you have a good day. Monday I'm off today because of the holiday. Hope you guys are too. New Year's. Happy New Year's. Here's hoping for a good 2023. Do not wait till there's number 1 on the calendar to make any changes in your life. We don't need New Year's resolutions, you know, that's stupid. Let's throw those in the trash. Let's fix what we got to fix during the year and not worry about making a schedule or a plan to do it, right? Let's do it. Thanks guys, you're the best.